Did you know that in the Eggcellent 60 seconds reatomized, at the game's main menu there is a chance that a pizza will be on the roof of the house? This is a reference to this scene from Breaking Bad. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Video Game Easter Eggs, the series where we cover some of the best Easter eggs found in video games. As always, if you think you know of a video game Easter egg that I'm yet to cover, then let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to check it out. Oh, and a big thank you to my Patreon backers and YouTube channel members for their awesome support. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. Right, let's begin today's video with more Easter eggs from retro-inspired first-person shooter Forgive Me Father. Now, one of the most common Easter eggs in all of video games is the Dark Souls bonfire. I mean, it's understandable. The Souls games are some of the most popular in all of gaming, but surely there has to be other ways to pay your respects to the series. Well, this poster that can be found on the harbour level is a reference to Solaire of Astora, a character from Dark Souls who is known for his signature gesture of praising the sun. For those of you wondering, my signature gesture is praising the subscribe button. It's actually really easy to do, just click subscribe if you haven't already. Now, if you recognise this next Forgive Me Father Easter egg, the chances are you're pretty old. On the graveyard level, you can find this. Okay, so how many of you know who this is? Well, if you don't know, this is Trogdor. Trogdor first appeared in a web series on the Homestar Runner website all the way back in 2003. Next up are more Easter eggs from Kingdom Rush. Now, we last covered the Kingdom Rush series back in episode 91, but in that video we covered Kingdom Rush Vengeance. Well, today's Kingdom Rush Easter eggs can be found in 2016's Kingdom Rush Frontiers. The aim of the game is pretty much the same as Vengeance. You must use your towers to defend your base. And much like Vengeance, Frontier has some really cool Easter eggs. First up, on the Dark Light Depths map, you can find this. So this strange little guy, who is almost impossible to see if you don't know where to look, is a reference to Reptile from the Mortal Kombat games. The other Frontiers Easter egg can be found on the Oasis map. If you wait long enough, eventually a frog will appear from behind the tree, and if you click it, this will happen. So at first, I had no idea what this frog was referencing, but after a quick Google search, it seems that the musically inclined frog is a reference to an animated short released in 1955 called One Froggy Evening.
Hello my baby, hello my honey, hello my ragtime gal.
Next up is fast-paced first-person shooter Combat Master. Now, Combat Master is the game that people who were annoyed with Modern Warfare 2's nerfed movement have moved to. The game is ultra-fast, with movement being the difference between getting a kill or getting killed. It's obviously not as polished as the Call of Duty games. I mean, it could probably run on a toaster, but I can see why people like it. Now, luckily for me, I didn't actually have to compete against real-world players to see this next Easter egg. Otherwise, who knows how long this would have taken me to record. The Arms Race game mode is basically a clone of Call of Duty's gun game. Each kill with a weapon rewards you with a new weapon, until the final level sees you trying to score a kill with a melee weapon. Now, these melee weapons are pretty run-of-the-mill, with your standard knives and axes. Well, that is apart from this one. So there is a very, very rare chance that when reaching the final level of Arms Race, you will need to kill someone with a PlayStation 5 controller. What makes this even funnier is that when recording this Easter egg, I was actually using an Xbox Elite controller, but there doesn't seem to be a model for it in game. Now, if you inspect the controller, your character will either enter the famous Konami code or demonstrate their supernatural abilities. Now, the reason that I say that this Easter egg is very, very rare is that I had to play over 30 games of Arms Race. I actually got it on like the 12th game, but I wasn't recording, so I had to play over 20 more games until I saw it again. Next up is series favourite Postal Brain Damaged. Now, a part of Brain Damage that I haven't really explored yet is the game's codex. This handy little feature tells you all there is to know about brain-damaged weapons, enemies, and locations. Well, it was when exploring the codex that I found the entry for the Super Hooker shotgun. The description for the shotgun reads, "Is there something more iconic and awesome than a double-barreled shotgun?" Yes, a shotgun that is clearly a blatant rip-off of a weapon from that game with a guy in a helmet. So this tongue-in-cheek description is of course a reference to Doom 2016 and its sequel, which featured a shotgun with a chain attached, which Brain Damaged has no shame in admitting that it copied. The other codex that references a video game is that of the Goliath. This description reads, "A host of nightmare. Like if you think Bloodborne was f***ed up, just wait and look out for this guy." Right, let's end today's video with Battlefield 2042, and one of 2023's most in-depth Easter eggs. Seriously, this Easter egg requires you to find things on multiple different maps, which I must admit makes a nice change from red balloons and Dark Souls bonfires. Right, the first step to cracking this egg can be found on the discarded map. In the red container behind the B1 capture point, you can find this.
The only way to ensure the NOPAD survival is if we neutralize Wolf. A long time ago, us collected intel proving the United States' role in the blackout. If we release it, we sabotage Wolf's operation. An associate here has kept that intel safe for us.
So this transmission from Blasco tells us that we need to find some stashed intel. Luckily, a transmission can be found on the same map, so head to this location and find another transmission.
Contact made. They were watching us like a specter in shadow. That message reveals the drop site where the associate left the intel. Once we locate it and broadcast globally, everyone will know America's role in causing the blackout.
So upon finding the transmission, you will unlock the messenger playing card. Next, it's time to head to the Flashpoint map. Here, we need to collect intel that is hidden underneath a solar panel.
After we release the intel, Wolf will be made a scapegoat. With Wolf tied up in bureaucratic red tape and paperwork, the NOPADs will have their chance at survival. Find a way to broadcast the intel.
Okay, so now we need to broadcast the intel. Luckily for us, there is a radio hidden on one of the green rings surrounding one of the gas tanks at the C1 objective point. Landing here can be tricky, but when you do, you can broadcast the intel.
We are initiating an attack on Charlie 1.
Broadcast transmitting. Deep breath, Snowpat, you did it! Now we wait as the intel spreads. The whole world will finally know the truth, and Wolf will be finished. Us New World has a chance. Change will take time, and our home won't be built in a day, but rest assured, a new dawn is breaking for all NOPADs.
Right, after broadcasting the intel, it's time to head to the third and final map, Renewal. On this map, you'll need to find and activate 3 satellite dishes. The dishes need to be interacted with in the correct order, and here are their locations.
Before we use Shearwater 2 in South Africa, us wants to see a test trial. We can't risk a blackout on the NOPAD's new homeland. Activate the satellite and see if it works, Exodus. Let's make a superstorm.
Status report. Not good, sir. We need to secure more territory.
Son of a bitch, it worked. It actually worked. This could change everything. Yes, us can use it to create a home for all NOPADs. But we will be able to do so much more. We could tame the superstorms, fix the environment, fix the world.
So after activating the final satellite, you will unlock a couple of camos and a storm will begin to form, which looks really cool. Now, you can complete this Easter egg in custom games, so if you have 2042, I highly suggest hopping on and completing it, as it is really fun. As much as I don't mind simple Easter eggs, I do miss the days when more involved Easter eggs like this one were commonplace in games.